is up, and Yannick Sinner is still world number one as we speak with over 10,000 points. Carlos Alcaraz world number two with over 8,000. So there's still a massive difference between the Italian and the Spaniard. Alex Zverev finished as we speak is third, while Jack Draper of Great Britain is fourth right now with about 4,000 plus in terms of his points. And Novak, who playing in the semi-final of this year's French Open, is fifth. And Lorenzo Musetti also in the last four for this year's French Open. Taylor Fritz of the US, Tommy Paul of the US, Holger Rune of Denmark, and who comes third, Alex de Munier of Australia, talking about the top 10. Let's head straight to the women's and go and see who is number one. But let's start by telling you that the biggest mover has to be Louise Bosson of France. She was ranked in over 300 in terms of her ranking, but now she has jumped multiple places. And she's now talking about her being one of the finest so far. But we'll wait to see what happened to her when we talk about the third Grand Slam for the year. But before that, we head straight into grass season. All right, so let's talk about world number one. Aryna Sabalenka lost the final, of course, to Coco Gauff in 2-1 on Saturday afternoon. Coco Gauff is number two, and it's a massive difference again between world number one and world number two. Just like I mentioned it for the men's, Aryna Sabalenka has 11,000 plus points. Coco Gauff is 8,000 plus, and Jessica Pegula of the US. The Americans sitting second and third, and Jasmine Paolini is fourth, while Qin Zheng of China is number 5 as we speak on the ranking. Number 6 is Mara Andreeva, and number 7 is Igor Swiatek of Poland. Madison Keys and Paulo Badoza make up the top 10. All right, there you have it in terms of what happened in the world of tennis. Let's head straight to the BBC. Shabna Yunus-Joy is standing by. They were World Cup qualifier last night. Wales almost got a point in Brussels against Belgium, but hey, the Belgians got some superpower in Kevin De Bruyne, who, of course, you know, is leaving Manchester City to join Napoli Football Club. He scored the winner last night, that you hear. And, of course, England have got a friendly game later tonight against the Tiger Lions of Senegal. And they're hoping that Bukayo Saka will be fit for that game. The BBC will take it. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the World Cup qualifier that happened last night in Europe and what to expect later today. And, of course, transfer news. Managers are also moving. The Italians, I think, they have the highest in terms of managerial movement, and of course we'll talk about players who are set to move later today, 7 p.m. The window will be short, and that means that for those going to the Club World Cup, you cannot register again. So wait to see how many clubs will do some new signings between now and 7 tonight. The BBC will help us with more, and when we come back, we'll come wrap up the show.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Shabnam Yunus-Joy at the BBC Sports Centre. Brentford are expecting a formal approach from Tottenham Hotspur for their head coach Thomas Frank. The Dane has emerged as the favourite to replace Ange Postecoglou, who was sacked on Friday. Sources have indicated it would cost Spurs more than $13.5 million to get him. Tottenham and Wales captain Ben Davies says the fight back they showed in their World Cup qualifier against Belgium makes the result even harder to take. Wales came back from 3-0 down to go level with Belgium in a thrilling match, but ended up losing 4-3 when Kevin De Bruyne scored late on.
It becomes a painful one in the end. Like first half, I don't think we were at the races and we got punished against a really good side, but to show the character we did to get back into the game, it's probably why it hurts a bit more now.
And that's the first loss in 10 games for Craig Bellamy's side, who are now second in Group J. Meanwhile, Arsenal's Bukayo Saka says the injuries he suffered last season may actually help him as he prepares for the final game of a long campaign on Tuesday. The winger missed England's game against Andorra on Saturday, but is expected to feature for the first time under Thomas Tuchel when they face Senegal in a friendly.
I spent some time at home with my family, more time than I was when I was playing, so yeah, that was nice also to mentally refresh and be with them. So I think overall it will help me come back as a better player, a better person, and able to give more.
And Manchester City have signed a Wolves left-back, Arayan Ait-Nouri, for a fee in the region of $42 million. The Algeria defender has signed a contract until 2030 and is available for the group stage of the Club World Cup. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
All right, thank you so much, Shabna, for that. So let's talk about some news in terms of managerial situation. And the Italians have got the numbers. A team won the championship. That's talking about Napoli Football Club. They're stable. Conte is going nowhere, and he's going to see how he can take the Naples side all the way to the UEFA Champions League, and of course see if he can retain the Scudetto. But for the likes of Atalanta, for Inter Milan, for Lazio, for AC Milan, they're changing managers, and they hope that will be for good. Let's talk about players who are also set to move ahead of this year's Club World Cup starting this weekend in the US. Don't forget, the US also will be hosting the World Cup. And they're trying to put so much together just to ensure that fans who come in for the Club World Cup have a moment to enjoy. Each time you have the halftime, there will be some kind of performance. You know, the Americans like all of these, just like we see during the Super Bowl. All right, so let's talk about players. Liverpool, don't forget, they will not be at this year's Club World Cup, but Chelsea will be there. And I'm hoping they can have a deal done between now and 7 p.m. tonight, when they will be hoping that they can get Mike Maignan to sign from AC Milan. Chelsea have been pushing. They've got 2 bids already rejected. There's a club-to-club discussion to ensure that they have the Frenchman who was in goal for France during the Nations League game in the last couple of days in Germany on board for the Club World Cup. And for Manchester City also, maybe deal in terms of players going to the Club World Cup is done. Yanni Wenders, Haidnori, all of them had their medicals done, and Hrantčeky coming from Olympique Lyon also. So for Pep Guardiola, he will be smiling now after he failed to win the Premier League. He will be hoping that the Club World Cup coming up this weekend will be something that he can get back to winning ways in terms of winning trophies. For Arsenal Football Club, they will not be at the Club World Cup this year. That is certain, that is known, but they're also doing business. The club is talking about signing a couple of strikers, but this time, what looks certain for now, I say, is that Kepa Arrizabalaga is on his way from one end of London to another end of London. He's set to join Arsenal for a fee of about £5 million, just to put that in context. And still talking about Arsenal Football Club, talks still ongoing between them and Benjamin Sesko. And Sesko, also the news around him that his people are also speaking to the Saudi club side. And for the Saudis, maybe they're not getting that Marquinhos signing. Wanted Victor Osimhen, didn't happen. Maybe they've got a Marquinhos in terms of a manager, talking about Inzaghi joining from Inter Milan. But they want the Marquinhos signing after the likes of Ronaldo have joined the league. They're looking for one again this year. And doesn't look like Victor Osimhen is interested in going to the Saudi Pro League. And for Benjamin Sesko also, there was something around him in the last few hours going to the Saudi Pro League. All right, so still staying with Europe and staying with club in the Premier League, Manchester United are also hoping that they can go back to Brentford with an improved bid for the Cameroonian, Brian Mbeumo, who £45 million was rejected, and are hoping that they will go back with an improved bid to the Bees to see if they can get the Cameroonian international. And talking about Brentford also, their manager is on the verge of moving from one end of London to another end of London, but the end of London is moving to North London to be precise, and it's a club side that just won the UEFA Cup. They will be hoping that him coming on board will help them. And so for Spurs, they're looking for a man after they sacked Hank Postecoglou in the last few days. Newcastle also playing the Champions League, are also looking to sign players. We'll wait to see how many they will do. It's still a long way to go, but for those going to the Club World Cup, and for those who also want to sign for now, that window will be shut tonight, 7 to be precise. And so wait to see how many can do business in the next 10 hours. If not, they have to wait to the end and then see how they can push again. But for teams going to the Club World Cup, they've got another chance to sign players in the coming weeks. Once they're done with the group stage of the Club World Cup, club can go sign sign more players before the round of 16 games will start in the US. So one tournament to look up for in the coming days is the Club World Cup in the US. And let me also say this quickly here, the time. I hope Nigerians will be able to wake up to watch games for 1, for 2. Some probably will start for 10, 9, 8. But most of the games will be in the middle of the night. Okay? Hope you wake up to watch. But we'll be here to report all of the events at this Z Club World Cup. I am Peter. I'm done for this morning, but not done for the day. We'll come back again for 3:30. We'll come talk more headlines from the world of sport. And that will be Scoreboard Reloaded. Coming up on the hour, my colleagues will be here for Baba Vendo, and that will be for 1 hour, 30 minutes. Keep it right here, 94.9, 32 FM.